Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name's Teresa and I'm the Car Boot Crafter. If you haven't already, I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe and hit the like button and yeah, join me in my crafty adventures. So this week I was hoping to bring you the finished Christmas tree advent calendar, but unfortunately the week has completely got away from me. I got a little bit distracted by doing that lovely box card that I did earlier in the week, and then things just sort of took off here, so I haven't had chance to finish the calendar. I am, however, in the middle of putting the drawer fronts on. And I just want to say a big thank you to everybody that commented on last week's video and gave me some really good suggestions on how I could fix the dilemma of how to put the papers on the fronts. A couple of people said, whatever you do, don't force the knob, because if you do force that, what will happen, you may end up splintering all the balsa wood on the drawer, or indeed snapping the drawer knob itself. And I absolutely took that on board because yeah, it is very thin, very thin. I don't know if you can, don't know whether you can kind of hear how thin that wood is, and it's not hard wood whatsoever. So yeah, so I absolutely took that on board. I had a couple of suggestions of how I could solve it by cutting up the front of the paper and then fitting it around and then cutting out around the knob where it's already glued in. I had a real light bulb moment with one suggestion though, and that was to use the old-fashioned decorator's trick for when they want to go around things like a light switch, which was to cut the paper at a diagonal. And I thought that's what I would share with you this week, what I've done and how I've done it. The other suggestion that a couple of people had, I think Angela was one of them, was to carry on using the gold, use the gold Inca gold on the tree around the edges. And I think Angela said to put it on the knobs as well. Maybe another couple of people said that, but anyway, and I thought absolutely what a brilliant idea, because I was thinking about painting these maybe black or a different colour, but absolutely the gold seemed so right once someone had said it. And this is what I need sometimes, someone to make the suggestions and then I can think about it and then go, you know what. And this was absolutely one of those projects where I needed that. So so the way I've put on the papers on the front of the drawers is this, and I'm going to show you on the 25 because I've already prepped all of my other drawer fronts. And when I realised that I was not going to get this finished by tonight, I thought I'll do this as an update instead. So so yeah, so this is the 25, and as you remember, my drawers only go up to 24, so this is a spare. So what I've done is using the technique, and it's a diagonal cut so that your paper fans out. So so looking at the back, so I use the back rather than the front. Looking at the back, what I've done is I've taken my knife and imagining a line going from that corner to that corner, I've gone to the middle and just cut about 3/4 of an inch on the diagonal. So it's just 3/4 going that way. Then I've turned it to the other corner, and again imagining there's a line from that corner to that corner, I've used my scalpel and cut another 3/4 of an inch line like that, and that ends up with like a square, which is what the decorators used to do. They used to put that over the light switch, and I probably could get that over the knob, but it's not quite. I wanted a little bit more flexibility, so what I did was I put it back down and then going through the middle where the two lines join. Let me get my black pen so you can see. So that's one line that's the other line that I've done. So we've got that square going on, and I'm now going to cut again about 3/4 of an inch straight through that middle like that. So I've now got a cut that goes from there to there, and then I've turned it again and done exactly the same here. So cutting all the way through about 3/4 of an inch. So I've now got a line from there to there. So I've got like a star line going on. And then when I put, let me get the right one for this one. So these are already prepped. So number 12, number 12. Oh, that was the other thing. I was asking about whether to number them one, start at the top and do them in order, or start at the bottom and do them in order, or just random. And everybody came back with random. So because I'd already numbered the back and inside the drawer in a random order so that I could match up, because these are all different. That, guys, this was the biggest issue with this, was that every drawer is ever so slightly a different size and a different shape, and every hole in the Christmas tree is also a different size and shape. So I very quickly learned, and can't remember who it was that gave me some really good advice about numbering the drawers and inside the tree, so that once I'm start taking the drawers out to decorate them, to then make sure that I can get them back into the right holes. Seems obviously obvious, but sometimes you need someone to say, you know. But anyway, so I numbered them, but for some reason I numbered them randomly. So everyone said to me, do the drawers random. So I thought, yeah, number 12, and I'll keep that as number 12. It just makes sense to me that when I'm putting it back into the tree, it just all matches up. So anyway, going back to these cuts, so what I then do is push that over, and as you can see, as you push it, the papers then flip back down and hug around the outside of that knob. So what I've done is, so this is the way I've done it. I've done all my cuts, put it on, then I've got this bone folder, which is it's not sharp, but it comes to a sort of a almost like a point, and then I've just gone round that so that it gives it a bit of a fold on those papers, because they're not going to meet in the middle, because the knob's in the middle now. So I've just done that. It gives you ever such a small crease in it. It also gives me an opportunity to measure, because as I said, guys, every drawer is slightly different. So I'm just going to hold that there, and then I'm going to use my pencil and mark where I want to cut. So if I just want to come in slightly, so that's there, and then this side here. And then I could have used my trimmer, but I just found, because I've got so many to do, I just found it easier to use my scissors. So I'm going to come down like that. Now what I didn't want to do, because I wanted to, because it's an oblong shape on the drawer, I didn't want to cut this so that it ended up square, because I could easily have done that. But it just didn't look quite right. I have done it on one of the drawers somewhere, but it just, to my mind, it just wasn't quite right, and I can't think where it is. There it is. So yeah, so I cut it and it's square, and it just, for me, it's just not quite right, whereas that one, I cut it and it's an oblong, so it kind of works better to my eyes. You might feel differently, guys, but that's just how I kind of wanted to do it. So what I might do is, I've got another sheet of these, so I might go and just cut the 21 out and replace that, see how I feel, see what it looks like when I've got it in the tray. Anyway, so I've cut that, so I'm going to pop it back in. See, that's the thing, look, if I put it in that way, it just doesn't fit at all. That's upside down. But if I turn it around the right way, then it fits, because some of the knobs, a lot of these knobs are off center as well, as I've found out, which is why when I've cut them at 3/4 of an inch, because although I've cut on this one, I've cut all the way to almost the 2, which will glue down and hide that. But because the knob's all over the place, I had to kind of custom make each one. So now I'm happy with that. I'm going to get my glue and just go round there, the edge of the knob. I don't want to get it onto the knob. I want to get it onto the drawer front. So, but I want it because this is where I need it to stick really, really well. So I'm just going round, and then once I've done that, just going to randomly glue across there, just so this sinks into the balsa wood. Because I did find as well at one time when I was putting the glue on the paper, the balsa wood just soaked it all up, and what happened then was that it started to peel off. So I'm just going to get it's an old school glue applicator, and I'm just going to bring that out because I don't want it to ooze out. So I'm just bringing the glue out so there's not so much there. And just to make sure that the edges stick, I'm just going to glue the edges. So, I mean, there may be better ways of doing this. I'm sure there probably is. But to me, this is the one that worked, and I'm so grateful that I decided to do this as a project where we all do this together, because there's a few points along the way where I think I'd have probably taken the wrong decision, like the paper on the front of the Christmas tree, because the paper on the front of the tree, the red now, looks so much better than what I originally was kind of leaning towards, which was the pine cone one, but that would have been a nightmare. So I'm so glad that you guys kind of steered me the right way. So I'm just going to fit that over, and before I press it down, make sure it's in square. Oh, that shifted. Wet glue, that's the problem with wet glue, isn't it? Sometimes if you're not careful, it will shift. So I'm just going to use my bone folder to make sure it's got because I don't want it to bubble. That's the other thing. I don't want this to bubble because this is what's going to be on show. And then I'm just going to use the edge, that fine edge of the bone folder, just to press in those pieces that I've cut like that. So it reminds me of the top of a what you call pomegranate, the way that the papers just sort of stick up. So, and then, because again, some of these have got like a bevel on the end of them, so it's just a case of making sure that the edges of the paper is in contact with the wood all the way through. And I found trying to dry this actually has the opposite effect. It actually starts to pull away when I put this anywhere near, because it's a bit cold in the craft room today. So I did put a couple near the radiator that I've got next to me, and what happened is the paper started to curl and come away, so soon knocked that idea on the head. And that is how I've done all of my drawers so far. And once they dry, the slits that I've got in the paper, I don't know whether you can see them, I can just about make them out, but once they dry, you can't see them at all. And then I'm going to go over them with a layer of PVA just to kind of seal the front of them as well, because these will get a lot of wear, I hope, over the years, so maybe a bit of a bashing. So so I thought if I seal them with PVA, then hopefully the papers won't get too bashed. So I've done the tree. I've sealed that with PVA front and back and sides, and I'm just now waiting to finish on these, and once they are, to PVA the front of the drawers, and hopefully that's it. You know, maybe, I don't know, I might put some decorations on there, on, you know, just to zhuzh it up a little bit, but other than that I think I'm done. What I'll do is I will bring it to you in the week. If I manage to get it finished before Friday, I'll upload and release it before Friday. If not, it will be up next Friday, promise. Anyway, guys, thank you so much, and if anyone's got any other suggestions or ideas, or you know, how I can decorate it further, please do let me know in the comments box below. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video, which hopefully is a finished Christmas tree advent calendar. If you haven't already, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. I would be over the moon if you commented below and gave me a thumbs up. Or you can come over and join me on my Instagram, which is CB Crafter, or on my Facebook page, which is Car Boot Crafter, all one word, Car Boot Crafter, Null, N-U-L-L, which I will get removed soon, but I'm getting quite attached to the Null, and Tracy Susan keeps calling me Mrs. Null, so I might just keep it after all. So yeah, have a happy weekend, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye for now.